ever since it got buffed, Galeforce is just skyrocketing in popularity. Hello my fellow misfortunates and welcome to another replay analysis. We are today looking at... oh, that was close. Looking at a Grandmaster Jhin player. I think it's Grandmaster Elo, if I remember correctly. And so even though Jhin uses lethality not better than every AD carry, but better than most Jhins nowadays forego Eclipse in favor of Galeforce. Galeforce is now, in terms of stats, a completely viable item, and the active, which has a lot of outplay potential and gives you some much needed options. Remember the, well, pain as an AD carry, where you just got one shot from everything. Yeah. Galeforce provides you with the safety, with the dash, also the movement speed from the mythic passive helps you quite a bit. And even Jhin, who as I've said uses lethality quite well, tends to go Galeforce nowadays. So I think it's quite interesting also for Misfortune, as a Misfortune main, right? And I want to learn how to use this item most effectively. So naturally we're just looking at the top of the ladder and kind of minion, okay, they got it. And see what they're doing. Well, in this lane phase, Jhin with a Maokai support also growing in popularity. They should have a lot of all-in pressure, especially when hitting level 3, when Maokai got his... oof, okay, enemy team hits level 3 first. They get a slight health advantage and some summoners are burned, but nothing too bad. Jhin started boots with 4 potions, right? And therefore has a lot of sustain in the lane phase. And also the movement speed allows him to quickly disengage should things not go his way. So this also means that, well, in theory, Jhin Maokai have a strong early game and good all-in pressure, but Kai'Sa has a Doran's Blade and Jhin doesn't. So in a full-fledged all-in fight, that might be detrimental, because obviously Doran's items are designed to be bought first. They are more cost efficient than most mythic items, having insane stats for a very cheap price. Their downside is obviously they are not slot efficient, as in they cannot be upgraded and need to be sold in the late game. But yeah, they are designed to buff your early game drastically, and not having it is something you need to keep in mind, right? So Bard is roaming right now, at least that's what I think. Okay, yeah, that's nasty. Tunneling in the jungler. But the minions deal a lot of damage, even without that teleport. I'm pretty sure blue team was fine here, because not respecting a minion wave that big... I mean, these minions deal more damage than a champion at this stage of the game. Don't underestimate the damage of minions. And obviously the teleport from the Gragas. Yeah, that's devastating. Devastating counter gank. Now the enemy team loses all of these minions to their tower. So nice idea by the Bard, but the timing was very much off. Again, you can't fight in a big enemy minion wave. It just never works. And if a counter gank is happening on top of all that, then yeah, this is the outcome that you need to expect. So this exchange puts the enemy, especially the enemy bot lane, extremely far behind. Kai'Sa just lost about 15-ish minions, which is worth an extra kill worth of gold. So Jhin will pull ahead massively. Yeah, so all in all, it's not about the golds per se, it's also about obviously the level advantage. So in the early game obviously gold matters, but levels matter more arguably, because one level is like 500 gold worth of combat stats. So this is also why, and an extra ability in the early game, which is like the big deal. So this is why the level 2 power spike, for example, is so crucial. As you have, especially in bot lane, as you have 4 abilities versus the enemy 2 abilities, 1 per champion, or 2 per champion respectively, and the stats, the base stats you gain. So yeah, now Jhin has a massive experience lead, upgrading boots, getting pickaxe and double longsword, so we can also see the item advantage. Now the fact that Kai'Sa has a Doran's Blade and Jhin doesn't, I mean, it really doesn't matter. Jhin has more combat stats because of the extra longswords. And he can dictate the pace of the lane because of his movement speed. Kai'Sa doesn't even have tier 1 boots yet. So, naturally, blue team is looking to snowball that lead into something bigger here. They already got the dragon, so well, obviously the jungler wants to play around bot lane now because bot lane is massively ahead, and you always want to gank the winning lanes to, well, to not give the enemy the chance to come back, essentially. That's a common misconception. Oftentimes people flame their junglers for not helping them when they are losing, when in reality a jungler has nothing to gain in a losing lane. He just risks getting double killed there or being too weak to get anything substantial off that gank. Whereas when you gank a lane that's already winning for your team, you can just snowball that lead. So this is a core principle of of jungle macro or support macro, even if you go for a roaming support playstyle. But on the other hand, there's no dragon right now, so you always, after you get a kill, you always want to be looking for something to take next. And if you cannot take the objective, Herald is spawning soon, and dragon is again still not there for a couple minutes. You always want to be taking something extra. So I mean, there are pros and cons to ganking bot lane from a blue team's perspective now. But even if they leave the lane alone, Jhin should still be able to pressure Kai'Sa with his item advantage, deny her farm, and, well, translate his item advantage into a health advantage, which then means Kai'Sa needs to back first, loses more minions, loses more gold, and Jhin gets a bigger item advantage. So just snowballing 101. Bard is still roaming. Oh, okay, this Kai'Sa is not having a good time. Jhin is looking to poke her on the tower now. Let's see what happens though. He could ult there, I guess. Oh well, I'm not sure. Maybe that was too greedy. But I thought Maokai could maybe go in with his aftershock, and Jhin could ult, and then they could dive her. But it's obviously also risky because they don't know where the enemy jungler is. Let's have a look, actually. Okay, Lee Sin is top side, but they couldn't know that. He might as well have been bot side, and when you go for a dive and get counter ganked, yeah, then that's how you throw a lead away, right? So not taking unnecessary risks is definitely a good choice. Now Maokai is level 6, so now they're looking for the level 6 all-in, I'm pretty sure. Maokai with the CC, Jhin with a follow-up. But yeah, the enemy red team, they probably are careful enough to not that. Oh, the Katarina. Yeah, Jhin needs to run here. Maokai is 100% dead. Ah, close. Nice. He could just clear minions. Yeah, good choice. So in that 2v3 situation, obviously Katarina in the mid game has a lot of burst damage, and Jhin doesn't want any of that, so naturally just disengages. But he still was able to, well, yeah, he was able to snowball his lead a little bit there. Okay, Galeforce acquired. I was trying to remember which button it. Yeah, X it is. Okay, with X you can see the gold. Galeforce acquired, so now we can see how Jhin uses that item. I guess it's just like a mini flash that doesn't go over terrain, or you can also use it for some burst damage in your all-in combo, because the bolts actually scale with AD, which is crazy good for Jhin, as like every single item or attack speed and crit also increases AD, thereby increasing Galeforce damage. Hang on. Okay, there we see it. Galeforce in and then auto attack. I like it. Especially Jhin with his burst. Galeforce complements that quite nicely. Ooh, okay. I think one more dragon auto attack might have finished Jhin off. But yeah, he luckily survives. He does have Ravenous Hunter stacks, so he should be fine here. Yeah. But still, now he needs to recall. And again, two of the enemy team members, well, the enemy needs to, essentially they can't contest it. They can't bring enough people to the Dragon Pit to ever do anything here. So Blue team takes a dragon, gets thereby another objective, and snowballs their lead. This is aggressive though. I'm not sure if they're far enough ahead to... If Katarina comes here, that's very bad. But, okay, it seems like Graves is getting away with this. Alright. Sure. Now, Jhin is working on Collector, I think. Buying Serrated Dirk. Collector, even after the nerf was basically nothing. Collector just used to help you farm in 10.24, when it was not yet nerfed. Because it also executed minions and stuff, right? But they took that away. This was never the intent of the item. It was all about helping you to assassinate people, right? And execute them. It wasn't supposed to be a farming item. Yeah, okay, just body blocking. So yeah, the fact that it took that away and called that a nerf, I would rather call that a not a bug fix, but they just polished the item to be more in line with its design intents. But yeah, Collector's still a crazy good item, especially on Jhin. So naturally, you can go for different items here. I've seen some people go for Storm Razor second, or for Rapid Fire Cannon. But in terms of raw damage, I guess Collector is just the best one. Come on, get it. Alright. Perfect, getting the first tower here. And after taking first tower, you obviously don't want to be chilling in bot lane too much, because if you just keep pushing, then you just invite the jungler and the mid laner to come and kill you. Oh, this is super risky. I would just base. Okay, he has 1.6k gold. I guess he wants to farm until he can buy the Collector, which is 1.9k at this point. But yeah, that's risky. They're all missing. They need to assume they're coming for them. Like, seriously, this is so risky. Okay, that's just pushing it, in my opinion. Pushing your luck. They are banking on Kai'Sa, trying to farm this, and then all-inning her. Okay, they see Katarina. Okay, now it's safe. Now they see Katarina, and they see Bard, and they see Camille. So this should work out for them, but I would have felt rather uneasy setting up a play like this. But maybe I'm just too much a coward. Who knows? Okay, it doesn't even work out for them in the end. They give it away. They're not patient enough. Yeah, now they need to move. Now everyone's moving towards them. Oh, come on. Blindly ulting. Doesn't work out, obviously, but yeah, that's just greedy. And now all of them are missing. Now you bet they're coming for them, trying to kill them here. Yeah, and Maokai dies for this, I think. Okay, so Jhin gets away, but Maokai pays the price for their greed. Again, plays like these are super risky. I would never go for that. I would just push past River Rome, as you all know. But, I mean, at least Jhin didn't feed away his shutdown gold. He's worth 1,000 right now, so dying would be super detrimental. Shutdown is like... shutdown gold is like the comeback mechanic, right? When you have a shutdown on your head, dying just once can throw the entire game away. Alright, Jhin still needs to be careful. This Katarina is in a quite strong position. 3-1-3 with Lichbane. Okay, now she killed the jungler. Yeah, she took quite a bit of damage and Jhin finished her off. But still, Jhin is still a squishy AD carry, so if Katarina gets a good go on him, then she might start snowballing even harder with that 1,000 extra gold paycheck. Alright, so dragon spawning. Yeah, okay, this lane is still somewhat pushable. Ooh, that looks like an all-in. Nice. Good job, bro. But yeah, they can push this wave, and now they can start setting up dragon. At least clearing the scuttle crab. 1.3k. Alright, so this is enough for Zeal or for BF Sword or whatever he decides to buy. You typically just go full crit at this point. Again, even crit and attack speed feed into the Galeforce active damage because they increase Jhin's AD. This is a Jhin specific thing though. If you do this on other champions, they will only increase their Galeforce damage if you actually buy attack damage or lethality. Oh, no, it's magic damage, right? So lethality wouldn't even work. But yeah, I mean, in most cases, the damage is nice, but the scaling with AD is not like the most important thing. Its base damage is good enough, and you also just want it for the repositioning purposes, right? Alright, so Dragon is spawned now, which means blue team should be looking to... Ooh. Okay. I think that Camilla's just dead. She just killed herself. Okay. For a second I thought they might be setting up a play there, but what was that? This is Master Grandmaster Elo, I remind you. I mean, but still, we're all just humans. And accidents happen. We all make mistakes. No reason to feel particularly bad about it. A tower should be free-ish. But yeah, now they need to take Dragon. Just take it as fast as possible. It's just free. Take the free stuff, win the game. Another mantra of mine that you should follow if you want to win more games. By the way, rumor has it that if you press the like button on this video, you also win more games, but I'm not sure if that's true, so you need to figure that out for yourselves. And yeah, after Dragon, I mean, Baron spawns in 2 minutes, so they could potentially still go for Rift Herald to apply more pressure, especially on the enemy mid lane. Getting a Rift Herald charging down mid lane would be so nice right now. But I guess... Okay, that was bad. That was even worse. Oh, bother. Galeforce away, but it's not enough. Lee Sin collects the shutdown. Alright, so now the chances of blue team getting Rift Herald are quite small. But that would have been the optimal play pattern here. Just take as many objectives as you can. And abuse the fact that you outright win every single team fight right now. Oh my god, Katarina. Collecting a fat paycheck there. But, I mean, in the end, you can't expect your team or yourself to always play perfectly, so even if something like that happens, the most important aspect is not to get flustered and keep playing. Just keep playing like you did before and win the game that way. You don't need to be perfect to win a game, even in high elo. You just need to be better than your opponent, and as long as that's the case, then everything's fine. Tilting is like the best way of throwing a game away that you should have won in theory. Okay, so they still can go for Rift Herald. It's getting a little bit close on the timer here, only 30 seconds left. Yeah, so the mistake was not as costly after all. I really thought they couldn't take Rift Herald now because of those deaths. But they still got it. And again, mid lane is just the most important lane to take towers from. Because the vision the towers provide there. Ooh, Galeforcing away. Nice one. The vision provided by mid lane towers is covering both jungle entrances towards both sides, top side jungle and bot side jungle. So you really want to take those mid towers as fast as possible. When you don't have mid towers, but the enemy does, it's essentially impossible for you to play proactively. You need to always be reactive, because if you just walk through your own jungle, you can't set up vision safely, and you just risk getting killed, which will happen. So mid lane towers, super important. Jhin obviously not the best at taking barons, but it seems to be working out. Enemy knows though, but they don't challenge. Okay, got them. Yeah, alright, so they still have the Herald as well. Ooh, Jhin could kill that. Okay. That Galeforce damage, can we see how much it did overall? 1.6k already. Alright, that's crazy, and it deals 400 by up to 50%, so it deals up to 600 damage against low health targets. I mean, obviously, when the target is at like 10% health, it doesn't even have 600 health anymore, so realistically it does like 500 damage. But that's crazy. 500 damage with the push of one button. And the fact that it's magic damage also makes it quite nice for Jhin's burst in the early to mid game, because you need to actually buy magic resist to increase it. Armor increases with level quite heavily, but magic resist stays roughly the same throughout the game unless you buy magic resist. So it's, even though it kind of sucks it doesn't scale with lethality or with Last Whisper, it's still better for the early to mid game. But yeah, now they have Baron and they have a Rift Herald laying around. They definitely need to make something happen and push the lanes in, not wasting their Baron and their momentum. Okay, so we do see the Rift Herald mid lane. At this point, okay, at least it doesn't charge into the dead tower, losing its health for no reason. Yeah, they should just take mid lane inhibitor and then look to take Baron. But yeah, Jhin cleverly staying in the back. Ooh, wow. Oh my god. Okay, so he can just 100 to 0 as solo laner. Must be nice. Obviously, he's in this game, he's very fed. But, I mean, the biggest pain of playing AD carry is the fact that even if you're fed, the 0-10 Darius will still one-shot you in most cases, which is super frustrating, because if you're fed, you're supposed to be one-shotting them. And with the Galeforce added to the combo, it looks like we AD carries finally can one-shot our opponents instead of getting killed ourselves. Alright, so yeah, the best play here, the inhibitor's taken, and now they can just take the Drake Soul and then proceed to push in top lane. Quick exam question for you guys. Why is it better to push top lane rather than bot lane? I've repeated the concept quite a number of times on this channel, but I want to know if you actually listen. So why is it? But yeah, this should be a one fight. Now with Infernal Soul added into the mix. Okay, it didn't even need to W, just the raw damage from Galeforce was enough. But yeah. So in this particular game it doesn't really matter. Pushing bot lane is also fine. But again, in theory, why is it better to push top lane? In theory, in a game that's still more losable than this one. Yeah, just taking away the enemy jungle is fine here. I mean, Jhin is the only player alive, not the Camille just spawned, but Jhin was the only player alive, and just walking deep into the enemy base while they are about to respawn is just suicide. So yeah, you just snowball your lead by taking... their jungle is their opportunity to farm and get gold, so just taking that away is always a nice choice. Alright, so the crit items are online with Infinity Edge. It's still a weak-ish item. But, okay, the surrender. Alright. So, in theory, they just push in the other lanes, take down the tower, or take down their base with super minions. So that's just a one game in theory. As soon as you take all three inhibitors, which they can't defend, while simultaneously fending off super minions here, so the surrender is completely understandable. Oh well. So, yeah, Jhin, super strong right now with Galeforce. Galeforce in any AD carry, really. By the way, if you want to learn a new AD carry, then click the playlist on your screen right there. A big thank you to all my Patreons and channel members. If you want to become a Patreon yourself, just go to patreon.com/mfdb. But if you rather save your money, you can support me for free by clicking the like and the subscribe button.